Right now, as you sit at home thinking she's working late or out with friends, there's a story unfolding that you don't see, a story that could quietly shake the foundation of your relationship. Most men assume that if something feels off, it's just a rough patch or maybe life is getting in the way. But the truth is more complicated, and in many cases, it's far more deliberate. When a wife cheats, it's rarely sloppy or careless. The real danger comes from subtle, clever actions designed to look normal, even innocent. These are behaviors that don't scream betrayal at first glance, but underneath, a hidden game is being played, a game that manipulates trust, perception, and emotion. Let's start with what I call the schedule shift. This is where it begins. A wife may suddenly stay late at work more often, or talk about new hobbies she's taken up, like late night workouts or frequent visits to friends. On the surface, it looks harmless. Work, fitness, social life, it all seems ordinary. But these shifts in routine are not random. They are calculated to create space, to mask other activities, and to lull her partner into a false sense of security. Men naturally trust patterns. When someone leaves at the same time every day and returns at the same time, suspicion fades. Consistency creates comfort, and that comfort is exactly what can be manipulated. In practice, this looks like small but meaningful changes. Perhaps Friday nights suddenly become client dinners, or she starts jogging at odd hours, always at night, never in the morning. Her explanations will sound plausible, and they often come with layers of support. Friends may chime in with messages confirming her whereabouts, unknowingly reinforcing the alibi. Men often see these patterns as harmless or even commendable, not realizing that routine can be a tool for deception. A husband might see the surface story and trust it completely, while the hidden reality is playing out elsewhere. Once the schedule shift is established, it often leads to the next stage, phone and messaging habits. Men tend to assume that if a partner is cheating, her phone will be locked away, difficult to access, or overtly secretive. But clever cheating often works the opposite way. Instead of total secrecy, there is controlled visibility. This is where the mirror messaging begins. A phone may appear normal, full of harmless conversations and familiar contacts, but the dangerous exchanges are hidden. They might be deleted selectively, saved under fake names, or camouflaged with mundane reminders. Notifications are turned face down, screens angled away. What seems like casual phone behavior is actually carefully orchestrated. The phone becomes a mirror, a reflection of normalcy that hides the truth just beneath the surface. The point here is that these early tricks are subtle and often emotional as well. You may notice small inconsistencies and feel a quiet sense of unease, but it can be easy to rationalize them away. And that is precisely what the trick is designed to do, make you doubt your instincts while keeping the truth out of reach. Once the phone game is in motion, the next layer of deception often becomes emotional. This is what I call the emotional alibi. Unlike schedules or devices, this doesn't involve obvious actions. It's about feelings, and feelings are powerful. A wife may suddenly become unusually affectionate, buying small gifts, cooking favorite meals, or constantly expressing love and appreciation. On the surface, this seems like a caring partner, but in reality, it can serve as a cover. By making you feel secure or even guilty for questioning her, she shifts attention away from her actions. Alternatively, she may reverse the tactic and start picking fights, accusing you of being controlling, suspicious, or cold. Highs and lows in emotion become distractions, almost like a performance. You might find yourself apologizing even when you're unsure what you did wrong, or questioning your own judgment. The emotional alibi works because strong feelings, whether love, anger, or guilt, distract from the hidden truth. You are reacting to her emotions instead of noticing patterns in her behavior. The next trick moves the deception into public spaces. I call this the social stage. Cheating isn't just hidden in private, it can be disguised in plain sight, where everyone else sees a polished version of the relationship. Online posts, family gatherings, or public interactions can all become performances. Pictures with smiling faces, posts celebrating time spent together, or messages to friends and family showing harmony. All of this builds a convincing narrative. Outside observers see a happy, committed partnership, which makes it much harder for a man to trust his instincts when something feels wrong. Social proof becomes a shield, protecting the deception by convincing others, and even you, that everything is fine. While public performances create an external layer of security, the final trick is often the most painful because it invades the place you consider safest, your home. I call this the sanctuary shift. This is when she hides evidence right inside your house: cereal boxes, drawers, notes on her phone, or even a second SIM card tucked away in a seemingly innocent spot. This tactic turns the home itself into a hiding place, a private domain where betrayal can thrive unnoticed. When the deception reaches this stage, it's particularly devastating because it turns the environment meant to feel safe and secure into a place of manipulation and secrecy. The sanctuary shift also shows a deeper level of planning. By using familiar surroundings, she creates a false sense of transparency. You might feel you know everything about her life because it's all happening under your roof, yet the truth remains just out of reach. The combination of subtle routines, controlled phone habits, emotional manipulation, public performances, and hidden evidence forms a sophisticated strategy. Each layer reinforces the others, making it harder to spot until patterns become undeniable. Recognizing these signs is not about paranoia, it's about awareness. Men who understand these behaviors can see cracks in the facade before it becomes too late. Watch for patterns that feel off, emotional reactions that seem staged, or public portrayals that contradict private behavior. Awareness gives you the power to ask questions, verify facts, and protect your emotional well-being. Understanding these tricks is the first step, but the next is learning how to respond without losing your balance or clarity. Awareness alone is powerful. It allows you to observe without immediately reacting. Start by noticing small inconsistencies in routines, messages, and emotions. Track patterns rather than isolated incidents. If something repeats in a way that feels orchestrated, it's worth paying attention. Communication becomes essential. Approach conversations calmly and factually rather than emotionally. Ask specific questions about schedules, locations, or activities, and notice how they are answered. Avoid blaming language or assumptions because those often push the other person into defensive storytelling, which can further hide the truth. Instead, focus on clarity and consistency. When facts and timelines don't add up, trust your observations. They are rarely wrong when patterns are clear. Boundaries also matter. Protect your emotional space and personal security while maintaining openness to conversation. If you sense manipulation through emotions, take a step back. Don't let guilt or charm override your instincts. Emotional intelligence isn't just about understanding others. It's about understanding your own reactions and knowing when to pause, reflect, and gather evidence before taking action. Remember, these tricks, schedule shifts, mirror messaging, emotional alibis, social stage plays, and sanctuary shifts, are designed to confuse and control perception. They prey on trust, routine, and the belief that a home or relationship is a safe, predictable space. But knowing they exist is empowering. Awareness is your tool to break the cycle and make informed decisions. Lastly, focus on building a foundation of honesty, transparency, and mutual respect in your relationship. Relationships thrive when both partners communicate openly and honor trust, and spotting deception early can help you address problems before they escalate. Healing begins with clarity, and clarity begins with understanding the subtle tactics that can hide betrayal. The key takeaway is this: subtle manipulation is often invisible until patterns emerge. Watch carefully, trust your instincts, and act with calm decisiveness. Knowledge is not just power, it's protection, and it allows you to reclaim confidence in your relationship and your own judgment.